What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily. Another day, another dollar, Papa Dude. Just us two here today to round us out before the last day of the week. All right, Papa Dude, we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the racing. We're going to talk about baseball, obviously, and even a little football. But let's start with Saratoga with yesterday. A good story in the Travers for sure, with Arcangelo winning and Jenna Antonucci continuing to have the success she's had with Arcangelo this season. But another breakdown, and that was kind of the big story coming out of it, unfortunately. Where do you start? A lot to unpack. I know you wanted to talk about it here today to start the show, so kind of give us your thoughts.
Well, it's I don't know where to begin, really.
Yeah.
It's I think we need to calm down just a little bit and look at the facts. Don't look at the theories. Let's look at the facts. I've got three things here that I'd like to discuss. And I think this is a very important show for us because we're trying to stay calm and all of that. The facts are, let's look at the facts. There's too many breakdowns at Saratoga. It's that simple.
Yeah.
There's just too many.
Mm-hmm.
When you have this amount in a short period of time, what have they ran? 35 days?
I think it's 32 coming into today. 32 or 33. Okay,
and not all the casualties have been in races, but they've been in the morning, and you told me you thought it was 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fact number one, and that cannot be ignored.
Yeah.
Guess it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Number two, and this pisses me off the most, no owners, or few, if any, owners, trainers, and jockeys, I'm going to throw the jockeys in there as well, have openly spoke up if this track is an issue.
Yeah, so I'll stop you there. One trainer, Brendan Walsh, did do something yesterday that I think needs to be said and needs to be given credit for. It needs to be done a little more often. He had a horse break down and unfortunately pass away in a race earlier in the day, and he scratched a horse later in the day for that reason. Hey, I don't think it's safe. I don't want my horse running on it. So I do want to give Brendan Walsh credit for that. He's the only one that's done that so far.
Absolutely.
Do it in a public way. So go ahead.
Yeah, and we have the elite, so-called elite trainers that are sitting there and not saying a damn thing about this.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to throw the owners under the bus because a lot of the owners of these big-time horses, they're in it for investments. And when money's involved, it's a whole different dynamic. But if I'm a trainer and I'm a jockey too, I'm supposed to love these horses. I mean, if I'm going to give a horse to a trainer, I expect that. And these guys have done.
Not to interrupt you again. I totally agree with what you're saying. But this is the thing. Like, if you see a horse go down in the 9th and you have a horse in the 10th that runs the exact same style and way in the 9th, I'm with you. It's like we were all like, we were terrified. Go ahead. I just want to get the perspective of people that were there.
Oh yeah,
yesterday as well.
Well, watching it on TV, I held my breath after every race. And Tony, I'm getting to you two because I do kind of agree with you as well. Okay, and then we haven't heard much from the racing industry. The higher ups have been kind of mum on this, and Saratoga is in a very difficult position. Economically, this is a boom for that town. And if they closed down the last week, they're admitting that they're wrong. There's just a lot of. I would not want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
And then you got to ask yourself, okay, as Tony is saying, breakdowns have been happening since the beginning of racing. Every track has them. You can blame the track all you want. It has been and will continue to be part of the game. I agree with you, Tony, but this is an extreme situation.
Well, that's the thing. Tony is absolutely right, and it's the worst part of it, and it happens. Tony, I went to the track probably, let's say 15 years before the last, it's probably more than that, but let's just say 15 years, a good round number before this year. And I saw a horse break down maybe like once or twice in those 15 years. Now, I watch racing in that time period as well. And yeah, you do see it, and it is awful. Tony, this is not normal. So don't try to make it normalized.
Yeah.
It's not normal what is happening. Churchill Downs also had problems where horses broke down. They had to they had to move their meet to Ellis Park. This is not normal what's happening. This is, yes, breakdowns are part of the game. You're going to have to be okay with that, knowing that. What is happening right now is not normal. I've never seen anything like this. And Jared and I were talking last night. It's like the Whitney and the Travers, we just want to go home. Like before those races even started, it's like, I don't even want to really be here. And continually bet. The betting part of it is so minute, but at the same time, to continually bet horses that don't make it to the finish line, that's gonna, if it's hurting somebody like me who's entrenched in the game, I can't imagine how do you explain that to like a new fan. I mean, this is bad.
It is, and I agree with you some, Tony. I really do.
Oh, I'm not arguing what he said.
Yeah.
My counterpoint is he's right, but this is not.
This is extreme. Yeah. This is extreme. There has to be some sort of an issue.
Yeah.
So those are the facts we have. There's too many breakdowns at this track right now. Mm-hmm. No word from trainers, owners, or jockeys, and I think that's despicable. Yeah. And I blame a lot of it. If these trainers, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, if they'd step up and say, "Hey, we got to get something done about this,"
they had ultimately the trainers. The owners probably have more power, but the trainers and the owners have the power to make change. If they say we're not entering our horses, probably is, I don't know where they go. The logistics of shipping horses is not as easy as just snapping the finger and we'll go somewhere else. So they're in a weird spot for sure. They are. They're NYRA people. They've got to kind of stick up. It's not just a Saratoga thing. That it's a NYRA. So like you don't want to piss them off. It's a lot of problems. But yeah, there needs to be more said.
There does, and there's not, and that irritates me. So, and then we don't hear much from the racing industry, or I haven't. It's
so. This is the thing. Like they sealed the track. There's been a lot of talk up here from people in the know that we talk to that say that they haven't handled the track right because of the whole rain situation. It's probably a lot of it, but I also think about Churchill Downs. And again, these are two separate incidents, so it's not fair to compare them. But Churchill Downs, man, they did studies. They tried everything. They kept training over the track, even though they weren't racing over the track. And it was like they couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Now up here, the track seems a little bit sketchy, right? But still, is it a track situation? I don't know.
I don't know because as you and I have talked off air, surely to God, they have the best track guys at Saratoga.
Yeah.
That know how to take care of a track, you would think.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. Is it rotten luck? Sometimes you have to look at that a little bit.
This isn't, but sometimes, normally a breakdown is just bad luck, right? It is, and like what Tony alluded to, it's part of the game. Well, it is, and you do have bad luck, but this is extreme. That's
there's no question. Mm-hmm. And every sport has a dark side to it, and unfortunately, this is the dark side of horse racing. And a lot of us, or a lot of people in the game, are not. And I don't mean anybody in the chat. I don't mean anybody, specifically, but it's true. Aren't animal lovers like we are.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't bother them as much. They accept it as part of the game, where you and I have a huge problem with it, because there's times I've been to the track and not bet very much because I just love to look at the horse. Yeah. I just love to look at him.
Well, and I mean, I think in a weird way, if you've been in the game for a while, you understand that they're not pets. Even me as a small owner, I understand it's not a pet, right?
It's an investment.
They are a working animal, and I think there is that thought of, well, it's a working animal. It's on to the next,
Yeah.
And I think that's the mindset of a lot. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying
No,
that's
me neither.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, again, I'm not pointing out anyone specifically. I believe a lot of the owners of these really good horses look at it as an investment.
Yeah, no, that's a fact for a lot of them. Yeah.
So run them at Saratoga, where it's a big time meet, you get notoriety, and where does that help you? In the breeding shed where you make the money. Right.
And another thing, like today, I was kind of surprised they didn't cancel, but at the same time, it's New York bred day. It's a big showcase for people who own New York bred horses. I think they felt pressure probably to run because
I do too.
These are purses that these horses aren't going to run for, And so as an owner, you're sitting there going, no, he'll be all right. You send him out there, a lot of them. And it's,
I know.
Yeah.
It is just a double-edged sword. It's part of it. We don't need to overreact. Now, the theories we have, and is they're not training them the same as they used to. That's just a theory.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Some of the other guys that are much more better at it than me might know.
Well, I think the problem is it's really not our job to know that.
That's right.
There's people in place that can figure that out. So.
All we can talk about, in my opinion, are the facts.
Right, yeah.
The other theory is, well, they're drugged up.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've been drugged up for a long time. I mean, I don't. It's not just this year that they're drugged up.
Yeah, if that was a problem, we would see more of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't feel like we can look at these theories like that and say this is the problem.
Right.
The problem is, go ahead.
No, I think if you've watched this meet specifically, and people in the chat are pointing it out, and they're right, it's happening in specific spots on the surfaces, right? On the turf, it's just been a nightmare. The dirt, it's happening in spots, in areas. And so that's, to me, this up here feels like a track problem.
Yeah. I would think so too. And an industry problem and an economic problem. Yeah. And you roll all that into one, and this is what we got. And it's heartbreaking. I mean, if I'd have been there, I would have just been sick. Yeah. I'm sure you were. Yeah. And I mean, I've been there with you before. I was trying to think today. I've been at a racetrack a lot of times, and I've been to crappy racetracks. I've not just been to big timers. I've been to some of the worst.
Yeah, we have.
And I don't think I can count on one hand the number of breakdowns I've seen.
I agree. Yep.
And I can only remember one time when the horse was euthanized on the track.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a good one.
Yeah.
Go down.
One that's we saw one at Will Rogers once. I remember that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they banned him off, I believe.
I don't think it was on the track.
I saw one at Oaklawn where they had to do it one time.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that makes this so bad. It happened right in front of everyone on the home stretch.
Yep. Twice.
The one I saw was over on the backside. And so when you see that, you don't see what you all saw. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned, watching the race yesterday. It was the 10th race was the weirdest feeling I've ever had watching a horse race. So I was with Jalen Santos. That's the son of Jesse Santos, who's usually in our chat. We hang out with him at Saratoga, and great people, by the way. And Jalen is he's young. He's 14. I think he's 13 or 14. I think he told me. So he's young, kind of the future of the game, and he's a big Echo Zulu fan. And we had just talked about her, before the 9th race, or we talked about her all day. And what happened in the 9th happened, and him and I are just like, God, Echo Zulu runs the same type of race, goes fast early, gets out in front, pulls away. It's like, I'm so scared to watch the race. And that is a horrible feeling. And we watch and we look at each other when she starts to pull away, and we're like, she's pulling away. This is great, because we love the horse. And that's a moment where you're supposed to cheer, and we're just looking at each other like, please do not fall, And as she's lengthening her stride, we're like, oh God, please just where is that wire? And not for a bet, not because we want her to win. So we want her to live. And
just don't get hurt. And
I'm sitting there with a 14-year-old kid, and we're watching it like that.
I was the same way. I was just sitting there. To be totally honest,
hold on, point this out real quick, Michael. Okay. You notice two things. What you said is absolutely right, and we commented on that. We also said he is babying her on the front end. If you'd also noticed, there was at no point did he ask her for any kind of speed. They babied that horse all the way around the track, and you can't tell me what happened in the 9th race didn't do that. And you're right. When she rounded that turn, I looked at Jalen and I said, he's keeping her really, really wide. And I said, you know what? I don't care if she loses. I don't care. I just want her to get to the wire in one piece. And you looked at that, and it's like he took care of the horse. So give the jock credit there on that one. But go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it does appear to be the inside of the track that's the problem. Yeah. With the dirt. I don't know. The turf, you'll have to comment on that. But
it's inside lanes on both of them.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm going to throw this out there because it does appear to be a problem. I don't think they can cancel the races today economically. I just don't.
I think that's what it is. And that's the answer for why they didn't cancel probably for any of them.
Yes. And listen, I know this is terrible, but we have to understand that. And
it's part of it. I mean, that's the reality is what
it's
you're saying.
Reality. That town depends on this.
Yeah.
They do. Mm-hmm. Now, if they know that the inside of the track is a problem and they don't cancel the races after today, and they have further breakdowns next week, they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
And I would be sweating it today. I tell you what, if I was an executive at the track or a decision maker or whatever, the announcer, I would be looking to the end of the day as fast as I could get there,
Yeah. Final comment before we move on, because I think we've hit the high points for sure. But they're talking about, I was talking to John White, Jared and I were last night, and he's good friends with Frank Miramati, the announcer, this is his first year here at Saratoga. And he said, I feel terrible for Frank because it's his first year. It's a dream job, and it should be such a great time. And he's had to call this, and that's not easy because you are the public voice when you're the track announcer for a racetrack, and have to call that. It's tough. So I feel for him too, obviously. And everybody's holding their breath. I mean,
Frank was at Oakland. What 1 year or was it 2?
I think, he may have even been there 3.
Okay, so we're well aware of him.
Yeah,
and I was specifically listening for him after all that happened. And I thought I could tell the difference in the race calls. And I thought he was great. I thought he handled it really, really well. I thought, because, he saw the whole thing. They handled it as well as they could, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and Scott, that sums it up pretty well. You just, after that happens, the rest of the races, you're just kind of just hoping everything goes normal, And
listen, if they have problems today, if something happens today, I don't know what's going to happen to Naira if something happens today.
$5 million. The handle was down $5 million yesterday from last year. So that's obviously not good. A friend of mine said the win pool versus race 9 to race 10 was down $300,000. So I do think it affected people. So it's and I mean, what I was getting ready to say was, it's like I mean, you're watching the race and looking at the horse you bet after this happens, but it doesn't really mean as much.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't mean as much. Yeah.
I can't imagine. It was bad enough watching it on TV. I can't imagine what it was like to be there for a horse lover. Like I might have left. I might have.
Mike just asked if people walk out. Hundreds. So if you've never been to Saratoga, where we stand, we go to the paddock bar, and then when the race goes off, we go over to the back or to the front side and watch it. So we're at the paddock bar. Paddock bar is right by one of the gates that you come in and out. So Whitney Day, we turn around and it's just masses leaving after that happened. Travers Day, you turn around, masses leaving. Yes, a lot of people walked out, and you know, we thought about it both times. And it's just like, well, I mean, we are in the industry, like we can't really, we got to be here, basically, you know.
We do.
But yeah, two weekends in a row, or 2 weekends in a row that we've been here, I should say.
Yeah.
And yep, that's what. And when that happened in I think it was the fifth race yesterday, I looked at Jared, I was like, oh, here we go again, you know.
And it got worse.
Obviously, it gets worse. So, all right, let's move on.
We need to.
Yeah, we'll have more on this. I mean, you know, we'll have another data point after today, and I will be completely honest with everybody watching. I'm not watching these races today. We fly out at 5 o'clock, 5:18. Usually, we would go to the first 4 or 5 races. I'm not going anywhere near that racetrack today. So now, will I be betting? Maybe. Will I have picks out? Obviously, yes. I'm not watching these races today. So with that being said, let's talk about Saratoga race 3.
Yeah, that's
on the card. Jared and I were talking. I was like, you know, this is a race I would like to go watch if it didn't happen what happened yesterday, because I think it's a very interesting race, and it features horses that we kind of love, like the number 2 Dakota Gold, like the number 3 City Man, Spirit of St. Louis, the up and comer. So $200,000 New York bred stakes going 1 mile and 16th on the turf here. Race 3. Papa Dude, who'd you like in this one?
Well, I think this is a great race.
It is.
You know, it's hard talking about this. It really is. You know, I'm sitting here now. I've got to change my my mood. You know, it's difficult.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is. It really is. I think the winner is the one who's going to go to the front, maybe, because I don't see a lot of speed at all in this. Most of them kind of run the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of looked around and thought, who might go to the front? Maybe they can get the jump and can't catch him. I don't really know which one it might be, though. Yeah. So I really like the Spirit of St. Louis. I like that horse a lot. Going to have to take a big step up. Very impressive in allowance races, 1x4, 1x3, last 2. Logical to go to this. It's just not that huge a race, not that huge a jump. I am trying to decide between the Dakota Gold, who's one of my favorites, and Spirit of St. Louis. And usually I would take Dakota Gold because he's done well in these types of races. And he's a pure closer, which it may be the one that you need. But I'm going to take a little flyer this time and go with the inexperienced horse, the one that's not ran in these stakes types races. I'm going to go with Spirit of St. Louis, see if he can get the job done.
That's very unlike you. I thought you would take Dakota Gold or City Man in this spot.
Well, I'm not. I'm kind of off City Man.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm kind of off him.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of these I probably would wait till the race and then make my wager. I might want to look at both of them. You know, it's that close to me between the 2 and the 6.
I went Spirit of St. Louis as well on top, and that's kind of my more style where you're more the established horse. But I do like Spirit of St. Louis in the spot. I think this horse has been fantastic. Really an excellent horse since moving over to the turf. Really had no business winning that Belmont race the first time on the turf and just aired him down the lane. Ran, got a much better spot last time out and was able to dominate. So I like Spirit of St. Louis as well. We're on the same horse. Really didn't think we would be. So we'll see what happens there. I'm with you though. I think it's close. I like Dakota Gold. Was in a perfect spot to win an not a New York bred race, but a graded 6 race. Didn't do it, but still was right there to win it. So we'll see what happens. I think the Go to Gold will run well here as well. All right, let's move on to the best bets of the day. We've got some talking points for all these. Magic, we have 4, by the way. Magic and Somich sent in bets today. Magic's going crazy. He's going Astros, Blue Jays, Mariners, plus 201 here. What do you think about this one, Papa? Do you like this one?
I do like it. I do. I like the Blue Jays a lot today. I was going to do the Blue Jays and the Orioles, just go with 2 instead of 3, but both of them are so heavy of favorites. I just didn't get anything. So he's thrown the Astros in there, hoping they win. And then the Blue Jays should beat the Guardians today. They've got the pitching matchup in their favor. Mm-hmm. And Seattle's playing Kansas City. And Houston's playing Detroit, and they should win. So, yeah, I like this one a lot. He threw the Astros in there to get the third team and get it up to 201. Yep. That's a pretty solid for 201, a pretty solid bet for plus 201.
Talking to somebody at the paddock bar yesterday, talking about baseball a little bit. So this is the best baseball season I can remember. And I think it's because we've got so many tight races because of those added wild card situations. So it's been funny. I like this one. We'll see what happens here. See if he can get it done. For what? Somich is going back to preseason NFL. We'll go to the preseason NFL now. Texans Saints under 38. Now, we made fun of him on, I think it was Friday, because he gave a preseason NFL bet and he had been pretty bad. But he got that one, and he got that one really easily. So we'll see if he can get this one. Texans Saints under 38 for Somich today. I have no comment on that one because I haven't looked at it. So
no, but it sounds pretty reasonable.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think he's thinking neither one of them have a quarterback at all. Even their first stringer is not that good. So I think he's thinking low scoring. I haven't looked. I don't analyze. I could care less. But I think under 38 is realistic.
I'm excited to have a better slate of college football next week to talk about, and then the NFL
don't
next
go
week. All right, I'll go to mine real quick. I went simple here. Dodgers minus 120, my best bet today. I just think this is a really good spot for them to get it done. This Dodgers team, I was not that high on them early in the season, but boy, they've been awfully good as of late. So I'm going to take LA today to go into Fenway and beat the Red Sox. I think the pitching matchup really favors the Dodgers today with Ferguson on the mound against Houck. I think to get it done, I thought minus 120 was a good price. By the way, just checking it one more time, they're now down to minus 115. So
I don't get that.
The Boston way, unbelievably.
I don't get that.
No, I don't either. I think they're the team to beat in this one. I thought minus 150 when I was initially handicapping today. So
I was shocked when I saw it.
It's crazy. All right, Papa Dude. I saved yours for last because Jared and I watched. Well, we were able to watch the last 4 or 5 innings last night and all of the first game. This has been a great series. Diamondbacks, Reds. Reds come from way out of it to win last night. A miracle win. Then they blow the lead. They still come back to win. Last game of the series, you're going Reds minus 105 tonight.
I like the pitching matchup today, and that's why I'm going there. I want to bet the Nationals. I want so bad to bet the Nationals at plus 154 against a Miami team that sucks. So I'm going to throw that out there. But I'm a chicken because I don't know if the Nationals are capable of sweeping them. That's the thing that bothers me a little bit in that. Another one I really liked was San Diego today over in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to lose sometime, but San Diego's favored. I can't do that, so I just can't pick them as the favorite.
Yep.
I like Ashcraft in this game for the Reds. Arizona's thrown out a guy that hasn't pitched very much. I think that was a real momentum maybe builder for the Reds last night. They blew that game, then came back to win it. Yep. That's the kind of games you got to have. Arizona's playing great. That's the only issue I have with this. But I like Cincinnati's underdog. I like the pitching matchup. It's a great series because it means a lot in the wild card situation. I mean, these two teams are going at it like it's the World Series. So I think it's going to be a great game. I saw somebody take the over in this game. That's not a bad bet anytime the Reds play. So,
yeah. Play Reds and over. And somebody else said that as well. Oh, no, that was you, Rob. You said it twice there. Yeah, for the Reds and the over and parlay. That's not bad either. Yeah, listen, it's been, the Reds, they could very well be 0-3 in the series. They could very well be 3-0 in the series. Like, it has just been a back and forth battle. Yeah, and like Tony said, this has been a really exciting matchup to watch. Yeah. Like I said, we've kind of snuck in here and there and made time to watch a couple innings while being busy. So it's been fun to watch.
The Reds have had a very difficult schedule, and hopefully that's going to lighten up for them a little bit.
I looked ahead. It stays tough for the next week, and then after that, they've got some pretty light teams to kind of end the season. So they need to tread water. They need to stay right there in it, and I think if they are, they're going to make it. But offhand where they go next? Yeah, they're in San Francisco next.
That's always a tough place to win. It's tough to win there, even though
they're not playing very well.
No, they're not. So they need to take a couple there. They need to get to the Cardinals and the Pirates.
Got them. Yep.
And that's where they're going to take advantage. They've got to win those games. They have to and make some headway.
This would be a huge win for them today to go into Arizona and split would be good. Huge. That'd be solid. So because this Arizona team is red hot right now.
They're playing really well.
So big game.
They need this with the pitching matchup the way it is.
Yep. And the Diamondbacks, I'm a fan of them as well. So I like the Reds a little better, but I like the Diamondbacks too. So.
Yeah. They've really bounced back. I had them buried, and they have bounced back. Yeah.
All right, let's go through the best bets. Get you out of here today. I'm going to go Dodgers -120. Papa Dude going Reds -105. Magic going Astros, Blue Jays, and Mariners +201. And Somich is going to go Saints, Texans under 38. All right, guys, we're at $411 for the year. Let's try to go 4-0 today and really pad that up for the end of August, but we'll see what happens. Final note, the first thing we talked about today is not something we want to come on and talk about, but something we just felt like we needed to do, and people, needed to kind of talk it out with us. So hopefully we don't do that very often, but just felt like something that needed to be covered today. So any final thoughts, Papa Dude?
Well, I appreciate all of the comments in the chat. You guys are all over it as usual. And Tony, I'll leave you with the last word. Let's bring back all the ponies home safely today. I totally agree with you.
Let's have a good day today. Let's have a safe day today, more importantly, for sure. So good luck to everybody if you're playing today, anywhere you're playing, any track, any bet sports. Good luck to everybody. We'll be right back here on Thursday with more Dudes Who Bet Daily. All right, guys. See you next time.